How can you rebuild trust in a relationship after your partner has cheated? So there are a couple of ideas that come to mind. Number one is you just need to do some reflection on what would this person need to do for me to really feel like they are trustworthy. There will be some element of risk and faith that's required where you can't prove that this is never going to happen again. And I've talked about this before. It was never provable. It was never actually knowable. You just felt like it was. It was naive. It's time to grow up. But what can they do with that knowledge of what they've done to you in the past to make it very clear that they are trying their best, that they love you, that they want to be with you, that they are intent on being solely with you for the rest of their lives? What can that person do that would convince you? So make a list. Think it through. A couple of ideas can be, access to phone and messages and emails and things like that. Not turning off like, on iPhone, like the Find My Friends feature, like leaving that on at all times. You could just check and see where they are at any point. But beyond just like access and transparency, which you'll need to figure out what level you actually want and how to set that all up. Um, Beyond that, the partner should have some very clear sign that they are committed to their own healing and growth, as well as the relationship. So they should be on their individual healing journey, and there should be visible signs of that. And they should also be committed to growing closer with you, and there should be signs of that. You also would want a timeline. So figuring out a timeline for what they're going to fix at what stages. Because oftentimes, what you would probably want is for things to feel kind of back to normal and to be able to trust them again. You would want them to kind of explain how they see a timeline developing. You don't want this to be something where you're doing all of the work. And then what can be most helpful is having them explain in detail why it happened. So don't have them explain the detail of the affair itself. You don't want to be like, okay, did you do this to that person? Did you do that? Because that can just give you fuel for intrusive thoughts, and you don't want to make it harder on yourself than it has to be. But understanding the motivations, like what was really going on, and they might need to do a lot of self-work before they can get to that, which is part of why the timeline is important, because if that's important to you, but they can't give it right away, they need to make it really clear when they will be able to explain that all. And it should be, within the next few months, not like by the end of the year, I'll be able to explain it. So hopefully that gives you some ideas on how you can talk with your partner and come up with a strategy for how you can begin rebuilding that trust.